Alright, we are back. Game 2 of Don't Care taking on Solaire Club, as Game 1 going to Don't Care just under an hour. Nice comeback from them, to be fair. And we'll see if they can make it a quick 2-0 and knock Solaire Club out in this loser's bracket round 4 match. If not, Solaire Club maybe can get the early lead that they had last game and then turn that into an actual victory this time as opposed to them throwing it all away. I'm sure they would not like to repeat that. First half of game, yes. Second half of game, no. Anyway, we're well into the drafting phase right here. Tempest and Dr. Pulse are going to be banned out by Link once again as they continue to try to prevent Noob McNoob from being able to do too much. There is an Ophelia on the board. He has played that hero before, although I don't think he's particularly comfortable with it, so I think that's what the debate is right now for the Hellborn team. They want to get the Ophelia and give it to Noob. Do they want to wait and put him on a different jungler? There are a couple of options still left. I know he does play Legionnaire. And I think he plays SolC as well. But not too many options in terms of stuff that he's particularly comfortable with, as the Parasite, the Tempest, and the Doctor are his favorite heroes based on my recollection, and it will be Lego. So, Noob going to be playing the Jungle Legionnaire right here, which is a hero he's obviously played before, as I mentioned. We'll see how he does with it. Anyway, Legion's going to start their draft off with Parasite, Magmus, and Bubbles. So if you can say gank, they can say gank. Hellborn going to go with Torture, Gauntlet, and Legionnaire. And if a Legion can say gank, they can say gank. So not too much in terms of overall team fight here. Magmus and Bubbles will provide some of that, but they are largely gotcha-oriented heroes. And Hellborn, similar deal. Lots of single target damage, not too much in terms of AoE potential, and a decent amount of push, I would say, as well for the Hellborn side. Between Lego's Creep Clear and Torturer's Impalement, they will be able to take lanes down relatively quickly. Parasite, obviously, with the Hell Cannon, annoying as shit. So, there's that as well. First few bans for the Legion side are Oogie, Soul Stealer, and the Hellborn are going to counter the Prisoner and a Puppet, so Legion trying to ban out the Cannondorf on the Solaire Club side. Cannondorf known to play Oogie and to do so quite well. Link actually plays the same hero, so clearly feeling like that hero would not fit in their lineup. They're also going to take out the Defiler right here, which is again a hero that the Hellborn team have played before. It'll be on Cannondorf, so going to try to avoid the potential for a surprise push strat, a La Prime Icarus. And so that's not going to be available. The hostile Hellborn ban will be Silhouette, so Link does play Silhouette, that's true. So it's interesting, both teams are kind of banning themselves out as anything else. I don't remember if Kendor played Soul Stealer, but apparently he does. And the Hellborn try to remove the Prisoner because they felt like Zafrante played that very well last game, which he definitely did. Puppet Master, also a popular hero, of course, so that makes plenty of sense. Both teams lacking a short laner at this time, and presumably they will be looking to pick one up relatively quickly. The Hellborn team's soft picking Clanks right here, which would be quite fine. Plenty of lockdown already, and a hero like that that's just pure damage would assist them quite significantly, especially with the additional mobility he would provide. Obviously 2 PK heroes in Gauntlet and Lego already. Might as well get one with a natural crazy-ass movement ability with the Hawk from Clanks. But there's 40 seconds left for this fourth pick, in fact, from the Don't Care side, and they're waiting on it. They're still looking for a support as well as a short laner. Lots of support still on the board. Glacius, Empath, Luna, Rhapsody, Witchlayer, Pyromancer, Engineer. And I'm sure why I said Luna, but I'd like to see the Engie here, I think. That would do a lot for them. It's going to be a Rhapsody. That's okay. I don't feel like it's all that necessary because we have 3 heroes in Parasite, Magmus, and Bubbles who are already very good at not dying. So having that ultimate's going to be nice, but it's not going to be the biggest deal. And they have a number of Rhapsody cancelers in the Hellborn team, and another one with Kraken. So I'm not sure if Rhapsody's going to be able to do too much. Meanwhile, her Dance Floor, again, going to be nice, but not a huge thing for a bunch of heroes that want to be heavily mobile and don't necessarily want to stand around and just auto-attack people. And then the Staccato, always a good stun, but I think if that's really what you're looking at, then it's not enough. Now, there is the Arcane Hymn. We have 3 heavy magic damage dealers on the Legion side so far, so the amount of magic damage lifesteal that they'll get is going to be pretty substantial. The difficulty being that a lot of that burst is going to come out early when these heroes are high on health, and Wretched Hag going to continue that. And the other difficulty being that the Legion team is 100% magical damage. And you look at the Hellborn side, we have 3 strength heroes already. I assume they're all going to get vestments or shrunken heads pretty much immediately. So the question is, will the damage be appropriate from the Legion side to be able to actually kill these Hellborn heroes? I kind of am unsure. They definitely have the damage. The issue is basically once the Shrunken Head gets popped, the entire Legion team has to run away because they can do nothing. It's going to be the Corrupted, the last pick for the Hellborn team, so as far as Agi carries go, that's a relatively tanky one, and it's definitely one that gets a Shrunken Head in every single game. So the Hellborn, likely looking at 4 Shrunkens relatively quickly. We're also probably looking at a 3 PK theme on the Solaire club, so lots of initiation there, and a lot of catch potential and a lot of chase as well. So we'll see where this goes, but my guess is it's going to depend a lot on the timing. If DoCa can win a couple of big team fights and have a good laning phase before the Magic community and Magic resistance starts to come out from the Hellborn team, then they can definitely take this game. Because like I said, the Magic damage is there, and their catch potential is fantastic. So they can gank off the charts amazingly. And essentially the issue is that going to be sufficient? Are they going to be able to build a big enough lead early enough on that they can snowball and take the game? Because I don't think they're going to win this if it goes late by any means. They're just not going to have the amount of damage output they need. The lockdown's going to be negligible because the Hellborn are going to have Shrunkens all over the place, and they're just going to be generally really tanky. So, in that sense, I don't think I necessarily favor the Hellborn draft, but I would say I'm always worried about drafts that more or less don't have the potential to go late game. It feels like it's an unnecessary risk, because there's plenty of lineups that can snowball and take an early game victory, and the Solaire Club have one. Like, I mean, they definitely have a lineup. You look at it, if Lego and Kraken and or Gauntlet get off to a good start, Corrupted Disciple, same thing, very good mid-game carry, they can snowball and win a game relatively quickly. But CD is the hardest carry in the game right now, in my opinion, because Wretched Hag is a solid carry, and she can put out a pretty good amount of physical damage, but it's going to take a really good start and a bunch of time to get her going. And so in that capacity, it's going to be basically, you know, you don't necessarily have the mid-game victory, and you don't... you don't have the mid-game victory necessarily on the Legion side, and you probably don't have the late-game victory either. So we'll see. But you know, I'm a little bit worried for the Hellborn team or the Legion team right now. Either way. As far as lanes go, middle lane is going to be Gauntlet going up against the Rhapsody and Magnus combination. So Zephranthe should have a pretty solid time right now in the middle lane. And Rhapsody going to continue to box out this Gauntlet, and there's more or less nothing that Gauntlet can do about this. He actually went Enfeeble level 1, so not even a hook, and Rhapsody should basically just be able to sit up on this ledge right here and screw with him. Torture going to come over. Actually does hit the chain reactions, so that'll be good, and that's to prevent Rhapsody from being able to do exactly what she wants to do, which is to continuously screw over this Gauntlet. And Gauntlet will actually be able to get some farm right now. Meanwhile, Legion's actually massively blocked out the Hellborn Woods, so all the tree chopping that Lego did before to try to give himself a good start, going to be for naught, because he's going to be forced into the Legion side of the forest. And in fact, he's pretty damn low on life right here. He also doesn't have a health pot, just the one tango as well, so he's going to have to go all the way back to the observatory and buy a health potion because he's taking a crap ton of damage from these camps. Bottom lane, Kraken versus Wretched Hag, and this is a matchup that Kraken can definitely win, and it's going to be Army of Bumps on the Kraken once again. So we won't talk about that, but he's actually nearing 300 GPM, and that's not hugely surprising. Wretched Hag just does not have the damage to harass out of Kraken. Even with the Haunt spam, it doesn't matter. He's got 3 more tangos and a health potion. He can literally just sit on this wave and continuously auto-attack, and and continuously take CS, Hag is not going to be able to box him out. The splashes should mean that he gets more or less everything that he wants, and so Link could have some issues in this bottom lane. As we can see already, Kraken is winning this lane, and once he starts to put in some harass onto the Richard Hag, things could also go badly for her. She's sitting on 2 tangos and a health potion, as well as the blink, of course, so I don't expect her to die. The only situation where that would make sense is if Kraken hits 6 relatively quickly and unexpectedly and gets that. Meanwhile, middle lane, Torture going to take a bunch of damage, but won't fall here. And Legion Courier actually dies because for some reason they didn't upgrade it, and they just let it sit there and go back in, and I guess somebody did not pay attention to it. So that's actually a fairly big deal, especially because the Legion side is running a solo support lineup, so Rhapsody will have to run back to base and get a new Courier. Kraken in the bot lane is taking a bunch of damage, will finally get a health pot out. That's going to be cancelled. Gets the charge on away, blink from Wretched Hag, and we'll see if Kraken can survive this. My guess is no, but he's got boots, and he's outrunning people. The Leech is going to be back available from Parasite. In fact, it is back available. Kraken taking a mana potion. That's going to be cancelled, though, and Parasite should be able to get the first blood right here. There's the Leech, yeah. So, a little bit too much damage from the Legion side right there, and you can see the magical burst paying off in the early game, as a relatively tanky hero like Kraken is unable to survive the Parasite gank, despite the fact that he had a ward of sight right here. So I'm not sure what angle Parasite took, but apparently it was one that Kraken could not see. Either way, Hellborn wards will wear off, and Lego going to return to his own jungle. So Noob McNoob at 210 gold per minute. Not exactly where he wants to be, but at the very least he didn't die, and he's got some farm. Hookback actually will hit Magmus. He's going to take a fair bit of damage, but just been unable to get the kill. He did survive the jump from the Legion side, meanwhile. Top lane, which we haven't talked about at all. It was originally a Torture versus Bubbles, but Torture had to migrate to the middle lane a little bit to try to knock out that opposing Rhapsody, so Gauntlet can get something. And the chain reactions do connect onto him. He's also taking a ton of impalement damage. Actually misses the shell surf right there, I think. And if he'd hit it, it might have been a kill. But oh well, chose for the safe path and the potential for a kill over the guaranteed kill. If he had shell surf forward, it would have been an easy kill. Trying to put himself in between, or trying to put Torture in between the shell surf and where he wanted to go, so he could get both. Either way, Canador from the top lane, 285 GPM. He's the top farmer in the game, going up against a Bubbles who's at 200 gold per minute, despite the fact that for the most part Torture has not been in this lane. By the way, Parasite really hates this Legionnaire and wants to continue to make his life hell, and that shouldn't be that difficult because obviously Lego, a hero that tends to take a lot of damage while he's jungling, so it's entirely possible that at the right time Parasite could catch this Legionnaire and kill him pretty quickly and easily. At the same time, Parasite's still just level 4, and Lego currently level 5, and we'll take a health pot here as well. As a word of sight spots the Parasite rotation, so they don't want to do really anything to force Parasite to go kill this Legionnaire as corrupted sort of vacuum if he wants to get in and hurt something. So, relatively even game here, 5.5 minutes in. And my estimation is that the Solaire Club will take this. They'd like to have a lead, but they will take an even game. I think the Legion side need to be ahead, because, as I said before, their magic-based lineup is going to require a really, really good early game in order to snowball and get a victory. By the way, bottom lane, nice hook onto Red Shag, but they're going to miss the charge. They still get the kill as Army of Bums picks up the splash auto attack, so that was some pretty interesting stuff right there. Kraken will finish off with Steam Boots, and that's nice. But Gauntlet making use of the Invis rune, and I would have imagined that they would see that. This Word of Sight does spot the bottom rune, obviously, and my guess is that it was a bottom rune. Either way, Jismin was gone for a really, really long time, and I'm kind of surprised that it caught the Hag off by surprise. So, Gauntlet trying to do what he can, because his farm in the middle lane is pretty miserable. So Franthe is the top farmer on the Legion side in that Magmus. No huge surprise, because he's the only one to have a support in his lane. And that should spell a relatively early PK for him, and he's definitely going to need that, because he's going to be the one that's going to be setting up a lot of these fights for the Legion team and following stuff up. He's also the only one that's got a particularly good stun. The staccato from Rhapsody is also quite good, of course, but it is a single target stun, so less effective in team fights and less effective for multi-hero ganks or for counter initiation. Middle lane Gauntlet gonna be a lot of trouble as you gotta get the hook back, but the charge from the fist, the initial move speed, is insufficient. Bubbles with the gank there, and they're actually gonna catch Torture as well. So they'll get a couple of easy picks in this middle lane on a couple of important heroes as well. Preventing that Gauntlet from getting any sort of initiation potential is going to be very helpful. Now, they still do have 2 potential initiators in Kraken and Legionnaire, so it's not like killing Gauntlet's going to prevent them from doing anything, but it's going to shut out a lot of the Hellborn's burst damage. Meanwhile, Legionnaire is also going to be found and killed, so this is what I was talking about before. I really like this early game rotation, because that's what the Legion side need to do. They need to use their early game spells and early game heroes to build a fat lead that the Hellborn team can't come back from. They're making some stuff happen. Solo Volca, not getting a ton of the top lane, decides to rotate middle and top into the woods and gets 3 kills out of it for his trouble. Meanwhile, Kraken down here eats a Bat Blast, charges the Hag back into the trees, but Rhapsody's right here. Release the Kraken will connect onto Link, but the Sonar Scream finishes off Army of Bums on the Kraken. And I don't really know why he chose to charge the Hag into the woods right there, because it was pretty obvious that something was happening. You're not really going to see a Hag blink on top of you. And actually, Legionnaire's going to get a free kill right here. So Link has no mana for blink. He's just like, well, I'm dead. Sad times. But anyway, I'm not sure if he would have survived if he had just charged backwards, but you're not going to see a Hag blink on top of you because he wants to, especially if you're a Kraken with an ultimate available. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to blink on top of him and see how that works for me. Probably reaction to that should be somebody else is coming into this, especially probably because I don't have a Word of Sight, so I have no idea what the hell is going on. Top lane Parasite looking to gank this Corrupted Disciple. Now you do have a Kelp Field available from Bubbles, but little do they know Army of Bums is in this. Kelp Field goes through, face hugs there as well, and they're going to put a pretty good amount of damage out, but all of a sudden Parasite realizing he does not want to play this game anymore. He's going to try to TP away. That's not going to work. Actually, CD blocking himself in a little bit. Bubbles going to get chased down by this Kraken, who does not have an ultimate available. TP support coming in from Bubbles as well. And actually Gauntlet looking for a counter, not going to find it as Magnus is able to move to the side. No hook even attempted. Bottom lane, Torture and Legionnaire perhaps looking to set something up, and the blink away does not stop the charge, so we're going to see a taunt right there, as well as an impalement and a chain reaction. Should be a pretty easy kill on the Link, and the dunk is successful. Noob with the tower diving, a health or life tube. Very, very helpful with that. By the way, yes, Kraken is sub 1100 hit points. Actually, no, he has 1100 now. So, suck it, Stu. Anyway, LEGO off to a pretty solid start now. Cannondorf the best farmer in the game still, but in fact he's going to get jumped. Bubbles looking for something. Rhapsody's here as well to do a lot of damage, and he could be in some trouble. Torture's there for backup. Going to be able to hit the chain reactions onto just the Rhapsody. They have a Shell Surf back up in 3 seconds though, and I still think Legionnaire's in a lot of trouble. Impalement goes through. That's going to prevent a lot of damage, and actually no, it's going to be a second kill is what it's going to be, so ends up being 2 for nothing as they finish off Noob with a well-placed Shell Surf, and the Lava Surge follow-up from Magnus ends up taking Torture out. They're going to turn this into a Tier 1 tower kill bottom. So, got 5 heroes down here. Rhapsody Dance Floor, of course, assisting with things, but despite all their rotations, they're actually down in a Golden Experience, and they're going to need to get grouped up and take some towers and stuff like that, and take some team fights, because even though they're down, I think their combination of spells lends better to early game fighting, especially because Corrupted Disciple is just not going to do all that much early on, and pretty much everybody on the Legion side will. So I like the aggression in the bottom lane. I'd like to see them continue it a little bit, continue to set up ganks, continue to look for tower pushes, and to try to force team fights possibly, because at this point my guess is they'll win most of them. And middle lane, Gauntlet hook did connect, but Magnus just Lava Surged out. It's fine. Kraken gonna sit in this bottom lane, continue to farm. He's actually got nearly 300 GPM, and he's 1, 2, and 2. So Army of Mums having a particularly good Kraken game, which is always worthy to note because it doesn't happen too much. He's already got Steam Boots, and he's actually only 650 gold off of his PK. And presumably that will be his next selection. Rhapsody gonna find Torture right here, right next to a regen rune. We'll see who gets it. It's gonna be Torture. No bottle right there, but in fact the chain reactions go on, and all of a sudden Rhapsody's in a lot of trouble. She's gonna die. There's a Gauntlet Blast and a combo onto Solo Volk on the bubbles, and it's 2 dead for nothing. So, nice catch right there, and a good word of sight from Rhapsody, but ultimately don't care, not coming out ahead in that fight. And once again, nobody on this Legion side farming particularly well. They have nearly 400 GPM on the Cannondorf Corrupted Disciple and 350 on Noob's Legionnaire, and nobody else on the Legion side is above that, so the top 2 farmers in the game belonging to the Solaire Club. Then again, we saw them do something similar in Game 1, and then it kind of went to shit from there, but I don't know. So, 7 to 6 hero kill advantage to the Legion side, but nonetheless a golden experience deficit for them as well. Bubbles not particularly close to his PK, and at 200 GPM he's not going to have it anytime soon either. Probably looking at a 6 to 10 minute interval before he finally picks that item up. Magmas, for how good his start is, has bought a lot of build-up items right here. Steam Boots, Bottle, Stout Shield, Mystic Vestments. Vestments are a little bit strange, to be honest. The Hellborn team really don't have that much magic damage. I guess Gauntlet kind of does, but it's not a ton. Legionnaire is purely physical. Corrupted Disciple is largely physical, especially with the D-armor. And there's a lot of right-clicks just coming in. Impalement, also physical damage, Splash, you know. So, a bit interesting. Charging Eruption right here, and gonna completely whiff it, because Cannondorf was like, bye. I don't know if he saw that or not, but that's why you buy a Portal Key on Magmas, folks. Not that he's not going to do that, it's just that's the sort of initiation you can expect without a Portal Key on Magmas. Is sort of the point. Cannondorf will return to his home lane. Bubbles, Rhapsody, and Magmas perhaps looking to set something up onto this Corrupted Disciple, who I'm sure they would like to slow down a little bit at the very least. But he's getting difficult to deal with. He's got a Thunderclaw. In fact, it's a little bit weird, but hey, why not? Actually, CD is one of those heroes I feel like you really don't need to build damage on him because he's going to get it out of the conduit. What you need is attack speed, because that's going to be the thing that is most efficient when it comes to increasing your damage. Obviously, DPS is damage times attacks per second, so if your damage is already really high, buying more damage will increase your DPS, but increasing your attacks per second usually is a more efficient route to do so, especially if your attack speed is relatively low. Boosting it is easier than the relative increase in damage you get. Like, from going from 300 to 400 damage is a relatively smaller increase than going from 500 or 400 to 500. Bottom lane, Jisman's going to fall. Release the Kraken right there, but the Rhapsody ultimate going to save Link, and they will get the Haunt as well. That's going to be 2 kills in favor of the Legion side, so nice jump. And the Hellborn team going to pay for it right there. Kraken did pick up the Portal Key, so it looks like the Hellborn side probably jumped on the Legion. The response was much too good. Gauntlet nearing his PK as well, which is actually pretty solid considering how badly he was shut down in lane. I mean, look at it. He's not going to be too much further off of his Portal Key than Magmas is off of his, and Magmas pretty much destroyed him. So that was not great. Well, Middle lane, Stan March is dead too. Sorry, I'm paying attention to Twitch chat trying to answer questions. As the Kelpfield catches him, and Tortures are kind of trying to hide. Did a pretty good job of it, to be honest. Survived a lot longer than he really should have, but eventually does get picked off. Obviously, the Kelpfield strings showing you exactly where he goes. And both teams trying to look aggressive in the top lane. There's a Legionnaire jump with the portal key and solo Falcon. Yeah, that's what's going to happen with a level 2 Legionnaire ultimate against an 853 health Bubbles who is farming on, I believe those are int treads. Anyway, we're pushing the 20-minute mark right here, and Link has managed to pick his farm up a little bit. He's picked up the light brand, so no huge surprise there. We'll be going for the Grimoire of Power, and should have it relatively decently. Probably around the 20, 21, 22-minute mark, something like that. Parasite, level 11, doing quite well in that department, of course. And at 330 GPM, he's also got pretty solid farm. He's gone for the puzzle box route. Again, very typical, and the third good farmer on the Legion side is Magnus with the portal key, but Bubbles gonna need some space to find some items. He's gonna go the push book route apparently. Anyway, there's the eruption in the middle lane. As will they be able to kill the Torturer? Stan March just barely surviving, and he's gonna get out of there as both Zephranthe and Zootonix die. Legionnaire gonna jump in on top of Link, but Link gets out with the blink. I'm Dr. fucking Seuss up here. There's a blink on Link. Will Link sink? Who knows what to think? There you go. I'm goddamn rapper. And out blinks Link. There you go. That's it. That's the end of my poem. Conquer going down here. One of them words. Words are difficult, you guys. Conquer's falling relatively quickly and easily in favor of the Hellborn team. And it's going to be a token on CD. No huge surprise there. Skip right through the pause. Top lane, it's Stan March dying, and I completely missed. Once again, Bubbles getting the kill. Final go all the way back. Oh, it's because of the pause. That's why I can't go back. Sorry. At least we saw the Fist of Soul taunt like 4 times. That's always good. Puzzle box, which I assume is at least level 2, possibly even level 3 on Parasite. I'm going to assume level 2. Because we're 20 minutes in, and even though 330 GPM is pretty good, he has Ghost Marchers and Blood Chalice on top of that. We can check right now. It's level 2, I'm a genius. Anyway, bottom lane. They're going to try to jump on top of these Legion heroes who are taking the Hellborn Ancients. Top lane, Solaire does die. And so he jumps in there, and it's Jismin with the haste rune, and he's just like, guess what? You can run away, but I've got a haste rune. Woohoo! Short cannon's connecting. So, short cannons now, he might have cast the rest of the series live, but oh well, screw them. I got here first. Not, like, in terms of time, but oh well. Aw, look at that. Canada never says hi to me in games. What is this bullshit? Alright, it's fine. Hellborn side, triple portal key. I am missing every single goddamn kill. Stan March is dead. There you go, he died. Sorry. I'm missing like every single kill. It's ridiculous. For some reason I'm watching Rhapsody before I'm middle. I don't know why. And there's Nowie too, yay. So, triple portal key on the Hellborn side. That's pretty typical, as we wouldn't really expect Corrupted Disciple to finish up one of his. And I'm guessing that Stan March wants upgraded boots before he goes portal key. That's a joke. Legion side have one of their own only. Presumably Bubbles will get one at some point, but he's going to go for the push book first, which is also quite strong against the Kraken, and potentially Legionnaire and Corrupted Disciple as well, so not bad, and really having issues for him as well is SolC, so kind of understand why he wants something a little bit easier to get than the PK. Lots of items coming out all of a sudden as Cannondorf has finished off his Shrunken Head, so there it is. The first Shrunken Head of the Hellborn team. Army Bombs went Bulwark. Why? What a taunt from Noob McNoob. What a taunt. Clearly did not click his PK first. Yeah, so 4 Hellborn Heroes are going to push down this bottom tier 1 tower. I'm really having issues continuing to think, apparently. I get halfway through a sentence and I'm like, what was it talking about? I guess it must be really, really high. Don't do drugs, kids. It's bad for you.
The Hellborn have overrun a Legion FOB.
Anyway, the Hellborn team going to be able to finish off the Shrunken Head onto Corrupted Disciple. That's going to basically prevent them from doing any damage to him whatsoever, which is nice. Nobody else on the Hellborn team looks like they're really going for one, though. Obviously, the Bulwark on Kraken, the Hellflower is going to be the choice on Gauntlet, and Legionnaire just going straight tank with the Helm with the Black Legion. So, I guess I get that. I don't necessarily want to mitigate all that much damage. Gauntlet wants to be more utility-based with the Hellflower, and that's going to be really a problem against for Magnus, Bubbles, and Hag, obviously. And Parasite, potentially, too, for that matter. But I still would have preferred to see Shrunken Heads across the board, I think, especially on Gauntlet and Kraken, because they are good Shrunken carriers, and there's no real reason for Kraken to go Bulwark right here. Puzzlebox gonna burn some of Lego's mana. Not bad. Just like, fine, stupid Puzzlebox. Stupid Puzzlebox. And, oh, Stand March Illusion gonna get killed right here. Bottom lane, Hellborn continuing to group up down here and trying to take a tier 2 tower. They want to get a little bit aggressive. They obviously have that Token of Life, or they did. I guess it expired. I lied. It's fine. Cannondorf, or not Cannondorf, Wretched Hag has finished off the Grimoire of Power. That's Link on the Legion team. And her farm should start to increase pretty substantially, but obviously that Thunderclaw is a lot for this Corrupted Disciple, as he's nearing 400, 500 GPM, and nobody on the Legion side over 400 GPM.
The Hellborn have overrun a
Legion. He's
Legion
going to push
FOB.
500 with that tower kill, and with a continued jump here from the Hellborn team, looks like they're going to try to force an engagement. The Legion side's trying to counter push in the middle lane, and they will get a tower kill here, so they're going to trade tier 2s, but at this point they've already lost their glyph in the bottom lane, and it's going to require them to back off this Hellborn push, so we'll see how badly the Hellborn team wants to do this, but my guess is that they can take a fight right here. I mean, they have PKs all over the place. It's not like they're sitting on a bunch of gold that's not being used. There's the jump onto Link. He's going to get locked down and killed. The stop in the background of the portal key, so the Eruption only did damage to Gauntlet. He's going to die, but the Shrunken Head is popped from Corrupted Disciple. Kelpfield only goes on to 3 because it didn't hit the CD because of the Shrunken. Kraken immediately takes the stun. Kraken Ultimate's still there. Is going to be able to lock down 3 heroes, and everybody's falling. There's 4 now dead. Magnus hits a stun, but they're not going to be able to kill the Legionnaire. And it looks like Semfrente is going to jump back into the base as his portal key allows him to do so. By the way, Link fought back and died again. So that's not what you want to do, but Corrupted Disciple still well alive. Obviously his Shrunken Head off cooldown, but there's still 4 dead on the Legion side here, and it looks like this will be at least a tier 3 tower. 2-man stun from Magnus as Lego wants to jump that, but realizes pretty quickly, I don't actually want to dive a tier 4 tower there, do I? No, he doesn't, so the Hellborn take a tier 3, and apparently that's going to be it. Rhapsody is respawning right here, but I felt like they could have done more to those racks. Magnus can continuously be annoying, but maybe that felt like they didn't want to take the chance of losing somebody. And, not bad. That Gauntlet was did a lot of work right there. Prevented the Eruption on 4 or 5 heroes, which would have been pretty huge. And sacrificed his life to do it. Wouldn't have had to do so if he had bought a Shrunken Head. Just listen to me. It would have been fine. What's that Arcana doing for you, buddy? Nothing. course, if he had tried to buy a Shrunken Head, he wouldn't have had a Shrunken Head right there, so it wouldn't have mattered. But he might have, maybe he would have had the Mighty Blade, and maybe that would have allowed him to survive. Who knows these things? I certainly don't. So I'm going to continue to pointlessly speculate. Was that a staff I just saw on Kendorf? I believe so. And it doesn't actually show me the owner, but it's going to go to Kendorf right now, so not bad. That ultimate is going to be able to do a lot of damage right now. Not a lot of melee heroes, so it's not like it's going to necessarily bounce a ton of time, but or a ton of times, but it's still a really, really powerful ability and a nice effect for that staff, and I'm quite on board with the decision to go for it. We'll also continue to allow him to tank up, so on top of that Shrunken Head, going to be difficult to bring down with right clicks at this point with 2,000 health, and actually nearly 2,200 on Strength Steam Boots, I assume. And that is the top tank in the game, so even over the Legionnaire, although he's currently at, yeah, he's in Strength Steam Boots as well, so Corrupted. More health than a Legionnaire. Not now, because he doesn't have Strength Steam Boots, but anyway. Nice D-ward there from Stand March. Bubbles will not be able to hit the Shell Surf, and this actually must be just out of range. Yeah, that sucks for both teams. And CD continuing to farm extremely well, 550 GPM on him. I have absolutely no problem with any of his item choices. Kraken finally going to go for the Shrunken Head right here after the Soul's Bulwark, and he's just about 1,000 gold off of that one. Wretched Hag has 1,000 gold saved up on top of her Grimoire. You'd think that's not a lot, especially considering she's had her Grimoire for a while now, but she also used a buyback and then died twice, and so that's where a lot of her money is. Meanwhile, they're going to try to jump Kendorf in this bottom lane, but he's going to get a Shrunken Head off, so the eruption's going to do nothing, and they're going to turn this around. There goes Ziphranthe and Link. I don't know why they thought that was a great idea. 3 heroes dead, and Bubbles trying to get away, gets the Shell Surf away, and he will be able to TP on out. They're not going to be able to catch him or kill him. Chain reactions were there in the right spot, but a second too late. So 3 heroes dead on the Legion side. As I don't know, out of all of the heroes in the Hellborn team, why would you jump the one with a Shrunken Head? You weren't going to be able to stop it from coming out. You just don't have the stuns. And even if you did, you don't have the stuns for long enough. Like, even if you get the full duration, you get the Magmas, by the time the eruptions finish channeling, that stun's over. On top of the Rhapsody Staccatos, I don't think it's enough to kill this Corrupted Disciple right now. So this is going to be some Rex in the bottom lane. And Solaire Club. Last game, builds up a pretty solid lead, and then threw it all away. This game, not throwing quite as horribly. Kelpfield on the 3, and Torture could actually be in some trouble, but they're going to go for the Gauntlet instead. Stanmarsh would have died by accident, but there goes Jismin anyway. Corrupted Disciple has no Shrunken for a couple more seconds, but he's going to pop his ultimate. That's doing so much damage. Ziphranthe just gets destroyed. There goes the Shrunken Head, and now he's in the middle of this, doing whatever he wants. Solo Volt going to die. There goes Zudonix as well. And Hag going to have to rotate back to the well, by the way. Another Staff of the Master was picked up on Legionnaire, so all of his cooldowns, of course, will reset once he gets a kill, so that's going to be a bit of a problem, because Noob McNoob not dying too much in these fights, and the dunk is a lot of damage. Charged Hammer finished up on Corrupted Disciple, so not really wanting to sell his Power Supply or Energizer to free up another item slot. And we'll turn this into additional attack speed and more lightning. And I'm always a proponent of more lightning. So, Rax in the bottom lane for Solaire Club, and they're taking a pretty good lead right here with Don't Care in a bit of a pickle. Because, as I said earlier on, this is just such a heavy magical damage-based lineup. We're going to see Shrunken finished up on Kraken right here, so I don't expect either of those 2 heroes to die in this game again, to be entirely honest with you. I don't think they will, ever. They just, there's not enough lockdown to prevent the Shrunken Head from coming out, and then once the Shrunken Head shows up, they won't take damage from any source at all. They don't have right clicks on the Legion team. And then what do? You cry. Sad times. We'll see if Gauntlet chooses to go for a Shrunken as well. He's still sitting on that 1 Arcana and has 310 GPM, so he's boosted his farm a little bit, but really hasn't gotten much else, and considering he has 737 gold, it's not like he's just sitting on a giant bounty of money. So to be honest, I don't know where Jisman's cash is going. Okay, second Arcana. Or is that a third Arcana? It's probably a third Arcana. Yeah. So that'll be the completion of the Hellflower, and that's where his money went, to buy another Arcana that wasn't on him because he didn't have space. So Hellflower going to be there for Jisman, and that means he can use it to lock down any of the heroes on the Legion side and annoy the crap out of them, because they all have very item and skill dependent heroes. They cannot, again, no right clicks means that Hellflower sucks for you, because you need your spells to be able to do anything.
Simeon target eliminated.
Alright, Stanmarch. Best tour to you, 07 and 8. Okay, sure. Up, hook just barely misses right there from Gauntlet, and it's going to be yet another tower push from Solaire Club. This last outer tower going in their favor. Does so relatively quickly. Obviously, the Kongor given a token to Mr. Corrupted Disciple. He dropped his teleport for that, or his teleport or his vestments. He dropped something for it. I don't know. Oh well. Legion side, not apparently very interested in defending their base, as Link finally going to TP on back, but this is definitely going to be a tier 3 tower. Question is, how quickly will they kill the Rax, and will the Legion side decide to intervene before they do anything? Once again, hook gonna miss. And Magnus is going to be the jump right here. He's trying to hide behind the tower to prevent them from seeing him charge up the eruption, or at least hide somewhere if fortification goes off. But the Rax are just dying because they're not doing anything about this. There goes Staccatos and the Lava Surge. We'll see if they can actually bring down this Corrupted, but they can't. There goes Link. Their Rhapsody ultimate not doing all that much, and she dies immediately anyway. There goes everybody on the Legion team. Genocide will be complete as they finish off solo Volca, and everybody exploded. Game 2 going to Solaire Club, as they manage to salvage 1 in this series. And that means that they'll go... Boy, I had just all sorts of wrong stuff before, didn't I? Anyway, so that means that we'll be going to Game 3 here. Don't Care and Solaire Club tied at 1-1. I think that a lot of the problems with that game for the Legion side you could see coming in the draft. Like I said, during the draft, and immediately after the draft, and a couple of times during the game, is purely magic damage focused lineups don't work against Shrunken Heads, and Shrunken Heads are really good items, and Corrupted and Kraken are both good Shrunken Head carriers. I'm kind of surprised Jisman didn't get one too, but I'm sure he would have if that game had continued to progress. Either way, they didn't really address Cannondorf. 643 GPM, 7-0 and 12, and that's the kind of farm that's going to get you a lot of wins. So, well played to Solaire Club, and that means that we'll be forcing a Game 3 right here. So stick around, guys. We'll be right back with the third and final game in this Losers Bracket Round 4 series to determine who goes to the semifinals in the Losers Bracket and potentially gets a shot at going to Diamond Division for next cycle. Be right back.